I often think about builds that were of old essence, older builds for any class, not specific to my wizard that I'm playing right now. When you think about it, a lot of new players that join the game in a newer fashion don't have the ability to use all of the newer essences, and this is a problem, and it's a reason why some of the older builds are still viable, especially for some of those newer players. Now, today, I was planning on building out a new PvE build with you guys, one that was less carpal tunnel-y with the wizard, one that was a lot easier to use and you don't need to button spam like crazy like we do with so many of the wizard builds. But I have a Shadow War tonight that I would like to do well in, and my current meteor build, this invisible meteor one right here, I'm not so in love with. I am just not as good with this build as I was with my wizard build that I used months back when I was playing the wizard. So I figured, why don't I resurrect that build, rebuild it, maybe update it and tweak it a bit, and see how that can do later on tonight in the Shadow Wars. So let's put this wizard build together today. Also, recently, people have been hitting me up in the game, in my messages, saying that they just transferred over to the server because I'm over here and we have these tournaments going on. If you don't remember, we have a tournament going on the 30th of January. I've put so many details out, but here are some of the details again. I'll try to remember to link the Discord in the description. Either way, it's worth noting that I'm over on the Treasure Goblin server, and I would love it if you guys join me if you want to play alongside of me, join these tournaments, or just be playing on the same server that I'm on. We are in an amazing clan called the Argate Summit with some amazing people, and I've actually really enjoyed myself over here on the new server, bringing me to new heights inside of the game. I would love it if you guys wanted to join me. Feel free to come on over. But it's time to put this build together. All right, electrocute is the same. We have this. I'm gonna actually switch this out right here, and I'm gonna go with teleport. So actually, where is my teleport here? Let's throw in teleport here. Teleport, why did I just click it wrong? Teleport, equip, boom. We're gonna switch it with this, and I'm gonna switch this with this. And I think this is looking good for a setup. Yeah. Yes, I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so now that we have the skills changed, so you know, we're going with Electrocute, Teleport, Slow Time, Lightning Nova, and Arcane Wind, it's time that we mess around with these essences a little bit because, well, they are very different than the ones that I'm utilizing right now. Cool thing is it turns out it's the same essence that we're currently using. Temporal Flux. Slow Time now causes us to enter a Temporal Flux, causing your non-channeled skills to reduce the cooldown of other skills and increase your movement speed. That is the piece that really makes the wizard shine. All right, let's move on over to the chest. For the chest plate, we're going to be moving over to Coat of the Astrum. Lightning Nova now unleashes an arc, a wild arc, that jumps rapidly between random targets, leaving behind sparks of electricity. Yes, I'm remembering this build now and how it works inside of PvP, and it is so much fun. All right, let's switch out our shoulders. And for the shoulder, we're going to go with Sir's Fortuitous Ward. Teleport now causes you to gain a shield that absorbs a lot of damage and blocks one total loss of control. So that's going to be great as well, specifically for PvP. Love that. That is now intact. Moving to our pants. Hastened Oblivion. Stalking Wild is going to be the replacement, where Teleport now blinks you to a targeted location, unleashes a vortex that damages and knocks enemies in the air. So essentially, I teleport into a bunch of these enemies. They get knocked up, they get stunned for a second, and I get that shield so I could drop a lot of damage. That's the whole strategy here. You go around in your battles, you dive into a handful of enemies, they get knocked up, and you get yourself a little bit of time to do some damage. Chisel of the Architect is the first primary weapon. Arcane Wind now unleashes an icy cyclone in a targeted direction that explodes on contact with an enemy or upon reaching its final destination. The icy explosion chills enemies as well. We're like that. We're going to drop that in. But that is only one of the two that we are going to be utilizing for our main hand. The other one is Radiant Splines, I believe, or Spleens, which we need to find. When Lightning Nova deals a critical hit, it emits a charged bolt that deals 15,000 damage. Yeah. All right, that's now intact as well. We just have to worry about our offhand weapons, Truffling Piffle and Unrepentant Gale. Now, we may have Piffles already in place when Lightning Nova hits a shocked enemy and unleashes another Lightning Nova, but let's find the other one. Essentially, it's going to give us another charge of of arcane wind. Beautiful. All right, these are all intact and looking pretty solid. Why are the pants are looking okay? Okay, everything's looking good. I believe we're good. Now for the green items, I am not going to swap all these out right now. I'm going with Vathu, which is part of this build anyway. Same with Skybreaker's Bolt. Restitution in Blood obviously wasn't a part of the older build. It wasn't around at that point in time. But I'm going to try it out inside of this one and see how well it does. Remember, we are still using our Savior pet as well, which is definitely helping us out when we're over here inside of the Battlegrounds because, well, we have Savior. And we have some shielding that works as well. So essentially, we're going to dash, then we slow time, and we just keep slapping these like crazy. Dash in, slow time, and slap these like crazy. Doing a lot of damage to enemies. Now, let's take a look at a comment or two. Yesterday, I put out a video about Awakening gear and gem resonance and all of that, and we have Sarah, or Sarabelle, saying, Awakening is the very first thing I recommend to newer players wondering how to improve their character. And it's so valuable. Once I've a slot awakened, I refuse to put a gem in that's less than rank 4 and will cause me to lose that awakening. 100% Sarabelle. She agrees with me, I agree with her, and all of you newer players that are wondering, should I just try and get this 5-star gem ranked up, or should I utilize that platinum to awaken gear? Awakening gear is the answer. And then we have this one from Gregory, and this one is cool. He says, hey, I love your channel. I don't usually make comments or read them, but I have been watching your videos since I started playing Diablo Immortal as a free-to-play or low spender, and I found them very useful. So keep doing what you're doing and F the trolls. Yeah, dude, I agree. You do great work and provide an invaluable service. Thank you. Yeah, it seems like a lot of the newer players that are getting into the game, I resonate well with those players, which is cool for me, man. I definitely take a more casual, maybe an easier, friendlier approach to Diablo Immortal. For me, that works. It's how I enjoy making content, and it makes me so happy to see messages like this from Gregory, knowing that others in the community are able to, what do you say, connect in that way and enjoy the content, learn from it, and then, in turn, enjoy Diablo Immortal. So I want to go and make sure now that we've gotten through our comments that I save this in the armory, sorry. So let's go loadout 4. We're gonna call that, I'm gonna actually click on all of these, boom, boom, there we go. We're gonna save this bad boy. I actually have to switch out Slinger for Gladiator, so let's do that really quick. Let's go to our Paragon. We definitely wanna go Gladiator for this. Activate that bad boy, boom. Now we can save it again. And I wanna give it a name. Overwrite this bad boy, okay. Loadout 4, we'll call it PvP 1. We'll call it PvP OG because it is the OG PvP build. I could honestly get rid of all of these builds. These are all very old and nothing is in place. So, ooh, PvE Electric, that one was fun too. I do have to put together a PvE build that is a little bit easier. For me, that's not just like spamming buttons like crazy. If you want to take a look right here, this is the equipment summary right there. And we have our green summary right here as well, if anyone's just trying to look at and maybe put this build together. But for today, we got to get our grind started. We got things to do, and we also have to prepare for our PvP later tonight. Battlegrounds is open. I may dive into a little bit this morning and test out this build. And remember, in about a week, when I'm probably switching classes, unless if I fall in love with this build and start smoking people in PvP, then I will be putting together an ultimate wizard guide, which is going to feature at least 4 builds for the wizard, my 4 favorites that I've used throughout my time as the wizard class. That's the plan. And by the way, something else worth noting off Diablo Immortal, not related to Diablo Immortal, someone recommended the other day that I try out Undecember again, that a new season was dropping, season 16, I think, which is crazy, of Undecember. I haven't played Undecember since it launched years ago, and I remember thinking the game was really good. I may dive in, maybe I'll do a live stream playing Undecember to see how much it's changed since we started playing it or first played it years ago. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. If it is, I could spin up a live stream one evening and we could enjoy some time playing a different action RPG. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel if you liked the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.